So I'm going to be showing you how I set up my March planner. Right in front, I'm starting off with my daily planner. This is an insert from Annie Plans Printables collab with C. Amy Draw. And I've already printed out my March setup or my March insert. I'm taking out glue and a tape roller. And then I'm going to be taking out my March journal, which is just another insert from Annie Plans Printables, is just a basic graph. And then I've already put down my washi and everything for that journal. I'm going to be using the Cocoa Daisy Pocket Memory Keeping Kit. And it has papers, stickers, and little cards for it. So let's begin. So I'm going to be starting with my March daily insert, like I said before. And it starts off with a month on 2 pages. Now I'm referencing February just to make sure that I'm starting on the right date. And then I'm going to start dating it because this insert is an undated insert. And just look at me go. It's fascinating that I write like that. This is 2 times speed. So trust me, I don't write that fast usually. So I'm going to be starting by just dating off the monthly. Let's see, what do I do next? I actually don't know what I do next. I have to watch the video. So I'm going to be taking out stickers, and then I got my paper trimmer. And I'm starting by showing you guys the stickers that I plan on using for March. This is from Planner Kate. And as you can see, I don't actually staple my inserts together. They're all just loose leaf papers. And then when I put them into my traveler's notebook, the elastic keeps them together. For me, that just makes it easier, and I honestly don't really care. So I use Planner Kate stickers for my bill tracking. And I use the gray colorway to put into my monthly insert or my monthly layout. I put the corresponding bill sticker with the corresponding date, and I like having a monthly view of all the bills and financial things because in my eyes, a monthly shows how many, like a bill is every month, right? So it just makes it easier for me. So I'm going ahead and putting down all the stickers. And yeah, I put them in the right-hand corner of the date, and then I put the date on the left-hand corner. I liked reading from top to bottom, so for me it just makes sense that way. And then I reference my monthly insert just to see if there's any bills that are every quarter that I have to pay, which in this case there is. And yeah, that's how I put in my bills for the monthly. Next, I start dating my daily pages. So like I said before, this is an undated insert. The dates start with a Monday, and then it goes to Sunday, and then there's a this week page, and then it starts all over. This insert specifically is a 5-week insert, but for March, I'm only going up to 4 weeks because the last 2 to 3 days of March, I'll put into April. And how I decide that is if the last few days of the previous month have less than 3 days of that week, then I put it on the next insert. It's not really an exact science, but in my mind it somehow just works. So I'm continuing to date those daily pages. And the pen I'm using is a Papermate Inkjoy 0.7 in black. And I just showed you before that there are just 2 days left of March, and so I'm just going to do 4 weeks in this insert. And I start putting in my flights because I do have a few flights that are happening in the end of March, and I want to remember putting in my flight trackers before I forget. I label every 3 hours, so 6, 9, 12, 15, and then I put in 18 hours just so that I can put my flight trackers in an appropriate time. And you can see my little head there. I did not know my head was in view at that time. And then my return flights are Sunday, so I do the same thing again, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. And I I like putting in my appointments as soon as I remember them because I tend to have a really bad habit of double booking myself, and that's not a good thing to do. So my return flight has two different flights, and that's the end of that sticker sheet. I really like going through sticker sheets. It makes me feel accomplished. So I put in my hotel reservation because I do have a hotel reservation for those 2 nights. And then I put them where I think I will end up going. So around 3 o'clock because my flight will go for a few hours. At that point, I'm thinking about maybe putting a Planner Kate sticker on, but I put that later. Now I'm going to start putting in my bills from my daily pages. So, like I said, I put in the bills in my monthly view, but then in my daily view, I want to write down what the actual bill is, how much it is, and whether I actually paid it off. So, I use Planner Kate Bill tracker stickers. Now, these stickers, I have it in blue and yellow, and how I decide which color it is based on who's responsible for paying that bill. So, me and my husband, we have two separate accounts. My husband pays for most of the household bills, but I do cover my set of bills. So, the blue is for household, so what will be coming out of my husband, and then yellow is for me. And I really don't need to track the blue ones, but it's good to just ask him, "Oh, have you paid the water bill this month?" or something like that. It makes me feel a little bit more in control of the household finances. So I put them in, and I put the bills on the right-hand side of the date, since to me the bills correspond with the date, so it just makes it easier if they're both in the same like general location. I tried to put the bill stickers towards the top, just because I don't actually know how much room I will need for that date. So if I wouldn't want to put in the middle of the day and then realize that that day is extremely busy and then I'll have to write around the sticker. So I just put it at the top. And again, just checking my monthly, making sure I'm getting the right dates in. Now these stickers, all of the Planner Kate stickers actually are removable matte sticker paper. So if I end up writing a bill on the wrong date, it's not that big of a deal. I can remove it even days after putting it down, which is why I prefer removable matte stickers over non-removable or glossy stickers. Glossy stickers make it really difficult for me when I have to write and remove them. So I'm just quickly flipping through my daily insert, making sure I'm not missing anything. And yeah, like I said, it's not bound, which makes it a little harder to flip through when it's not in my traveler's notebook. But once I put in the elastic, it doesn't really make any difference for me. So that first page is a Happy Dia collab with Annie Plants Printables insert, in which I just printed on one side. I take out my date stickers, and these are again from Planner Kate. I believe they're for actually dating, but I use them as countdowns because there's 31 of them, so it's always great to count down per month. So I'm putting down my countdowns for an exam that I have, which is in the red. And to me it's extremely satisfying for me to know that I have 14 days before an exam or something like that, so that I can prioritize and time manage. And then I have put down the blue stickers because I am training for I'm training for a marathon, kind of. So those are how many days are left before the marathon actually happens. I like to pick them in two very different colors, the countdown stickers, I mean, so that I can look at it very quickly and know what it is. I don't have to pause and think about it. And I put them right next to the date, again because I don't know how much space I'll need for that day, and again my brain automatically goes for the date and then the day. And so yeah, I put it right next to the bill tracker. And I'm just making sure that I counted my dates right. For a moment there, I thought I didn't. So I was kind of freaking out, but I later realized that no, I was right. It was okay. So there are my countdown stickers. And then I'm done with my February insert for reference. I then pull out my monthly insert just to make sure that I'm not missing any appointments. And at that point, I'm taking out my drill stickers because I am in the Army Reserve, so I want to mark down that I have drill for whatever weekend it is. It would suck if I missed drill. So I put them in. Those are from Little Red Prince. She has custom inserts in which you can request whatever words you want, and so I obviously picked drill. And then I start to write down my big events that are happening. So I have a big event that's happening on a Saturday for my flight, and then I have another one for Sunday, which is the marathon. And I put them directly under the bill sticker if there is one. So yeah, that is how I set up my daily insert. Nothing really special. And so what do I do next? So I start looking through the Cocoa Daisy kit just to see what I want to use for my inserts. It comes with die cuts, stickers, stamps, general ephemera, and then of course the pocket cards. Now I print out a graph sheet before my monthly and then behind the Happy Dia collab. And at that point, I do my habit tracker. So I do a habit tracker by month, and I actually draw out the month with with a Monday start rather than Sunday, because in my mind, the weekend should be together. So I just draw out the month, and it takes me a little bit of time to make sure I get 7 boxes across, and for this month, it's 5 boxes down. And then I draw the outline, and I do that multiple times. So I believe I do 4 for down this right-hand side. And I'll write down my habits later. I haven't decided what habits I want to track for March. I tend to switch them up based on how well I did the previous month. So if I did really well with drinking water, then I'm not going to track it again in March because it's already a habit that I'm pretty good at. So I'll track new habits or keep some of them will keep the same. So I do track my no spend and I track when I get headaches and migraines because that is a health condition. So it's always good to track those kind of health things. So when you go to the doctors, you can literally point out how many days per month you've had a migraine, for example. So some habits will stay the same, some don't. I don't write them down because I haven't decided them yet. So I was able to put 4 down the right-hand side, and perhaps later I'll make more, but for now 4 is enough. And then I'm just counting to see how many I have. Let's see. So at that point I'm looking for a Happy Mail sticker, but I couldn't find one, so I guess I don't really have them. Not that I really need it, I could easily write it out. You never really need stickers to put in your planner. It just makes it pretty, but you can always just write out what you need. But at that point I just wanted a sticker. So I'm still looking for one, and I found one that I can use. So I put that on the far right-hand side of this graph sheet in my insert, and that's where I'll put down all my Happy Mail that I'm expecting throughout the month. I don't like listing out Happy Mail per week because I honestly don't get that much Happy Mail, so that's just wasted time for me to continually write it. So I'm looking through the Cocoa Daisy die cuts, looking for something to write on my first page for the Happy Die insert. I put my goals on that first page because that's the first page that I see when I flip to my daily insert. So I want to constantly be reminded of my goals. I tend to forget what my goals are, and that's the reason why I never end up fulfilling as many as I want. So if I write it in a place that I'll constantly check, it makes it easier for me to actually go through and do my goals. In the end, I don't find any die cuts that I really wanted to put in. However, I did find the spring forward, which that is something that's happening in March, the daylight savings. So I'm just deciding on where to put it. And it's actually for Sunday, in which I do fix that. It's not Saturday. And I looked through my monthly insert to find out that yes, it is Sunday, not Saturday. And then St. Patrick's Day is also happening in March. And even though I don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day, I like putting it in there because I always like to text my friend Patrick and always tell him Happy Patrick's Day. So I put that in. That was just a die cut from Cocoa Daisy. And I put it right next to the date. And there is spring forward. I do cover up the number for the 8th of March, but I mean, I'm going to know that it's the 8th of March because right next to the page is the 7th, which is a Saturday. So I don't really need the date for Sunday. Plus, I'll be at drill, so I'll know that it's the 8th. So that is my daily insert, at least filling it out. So now I'm starting to cover my daily insert. I'm using the Cocoa Daisy papers, and I went ahead and picked out whatever papers I wanted to use, and I used my paper trimmer, and I cut it down. So I know that the B6 Slim.
So I know the B6 Slim inserts are 4.25 inches across.
4.25 inches.
So I'm just
wide.
measuring just slightly over that 4.25 to account for the width of the actual daily insert. Because I wanted to wrap around the insert.
I need to account for the actual
I'm not going
to put the daily
I'm not going to
insert.
paste it on top.
Which I will also show later on. For both the front and
I
the
use
back.
that front cover to match up with the back.
As a reference. And then I check again with my daily insert.
At that point, I'm just checking to make sure that the insert fits comfortably in there and accounts for the width.
I do this slowly.
At that point, I'll do the top. The top is
it's not that big of a deal
to measure because
the cuts are off for any difference. I mean, so if I'm going to use the Cocoa Daisy papers, which are so pretty this month, I'm going to make sure that I can do it as accurately as possible. So that is the first cut, that's the cover. And then I do the sides first and then the top.
That is
because the top
cover.
I don't need to account for any
so
width.
At that point, I'm just making
sure
that the height of both of them match up.
So the top is a little easier
tape.
for me
This is the washi from the Cocoa Daisy
measure kit. So I just put it down.
It's a really pretty floral that matches the kit beautifully.
Make sure that it's
and I'll wash it
at the bottom,
front,
and then
I'll make sure to align the back.
And I give a little bit of space in between just to account for again the width of that insert. Make sure that washi is fully adhered. Check that the insert fits comfortably in there.
So at this point,
I want to make sure that the insert
fits
the washi rather than the actual paper, because the paper, it's not as flexible as, say, washi. So, and you want that insert to wrap around you like comfortably so that when you put it in your notebook, it will naturally close shut, as you can see. So that covers my insert really well. And at that point, I'm going to start looking for my die cut, and I see a Hello March, which matches beautifully again. And then I start looking through the pocket memory cards. And there is a March one that has the calendar. It's double-sided. It has a Sunday start and a Monday start. And there's also a Hello March 4x6 card, which I was thinking about maybe putting somewhere, but I ended up deciding against it. I like to keep my covers quite plain. It allows me to be more flexible. So I just use Elmer's glue that I just got from Target, and I adhere the little die cut. I actually like glue for putting these things on. I don't like double stick tape. I think it's just truly just a comfort thing. So these are little enamel dots that have little glitters inside, which is truly beautiful. And I put them in a cluster of 3 up in that corner with different colors. And I was thinking about putting them on the flowers, but it just didn't match as much as I wanted to, so I was just leaving the flowers as they are. And I just flip through my insert, make sure that everything fits in there comfortably. And at that point, I start looking to make my tab. I like to put a tab for my month, and I'm using the excess paper that I chopped off for the cover. I like to use as much as I possibly can, and I also like it if everything matches. So I'm just making sure that the paper is wide enough to cover the entire stamp, and then I want my tab to be double-sided. So I picked 2 different papers so that it can just be as matching as possible. And again, just trying to align my papers as beautifully as possible with the tab punch. This is the We Are Memory Keepers tab punch. It's quite popular. It works really well. It's very strong. So I just pop out those tabs and just make sure that the colors are what I want. And at that point, I'm starting to look for another die cut to put on, but I can't find one that I really like. I close my glue stick. I find that if I like to try to keep my desktop as clear as possible. It's not always the case, as you can see, but I like to make sure that my glue stick cap is with my glue stick. I try to keep all the die cuts in the same general location. So at that point, I'm looking for tape, I believe, and scissors. So I want my tab to be able to be used as sort of a bookmark. And I will show you. So I'm going to tape my 2 tab pieces together. And again, accounting a little bit for the width of the notebook. So I put it on one tab, make sure it's fully adhered, and then stick the other tab right next to it. Again, accounting for the width of the insert. I fold them together just to make sure that they're perfectly aligned. And then I just want to make sure that the tab is a good amount of space for that card. Now, I do like to put tape on my tabs because tabs tend to be the first thing in my notebooks that wear out. And so the tape protects it. I like the feeling of paper for my insert covers and other parts of my notebook. But tape does make it more steady. So again, just making sure that that tab is a good space for that card. And then again, with my glue stick, I'm just going to glue the edge of that tab to the edge of that journaling card. Again, leaving a little bit of space. And making sure that it fully adheres. And then I just check to make sure that the top of that card doesn't go over the top of the insert. I'll put that tab right on my monthly insert since I do like to check my monthly insert periodically. So I again make sure that it is aligned. Make sure that the journaling card doesn't stick out strangely from the side or from the top. And again, I'll glue it down. Make sure that it's fully adhered. I put a little bit too much glue there so you can see me swiping it off a little. And that is my tab. At that point, I'm looking at the stamps and wondering if maybe I can put a stamp on that tab. Now, if I was to do this again, I would have just skipped that because I don't have any ink that I can comfortably put on tape and make sure it sticks. But so if I was going to put a stamp on there, I would do it before I actually taped the tab. But I decided against the stamp anyway. But just as a note for future self, I take out my stamp acrylic block and my stamp. I just have one ink pad. It's just black. It's one of those $1 stamp pads from Michaels. It works just fine for what I need it to. And I just rub the stamp a little with my finger just to try to get as clear of a stamp as possible. And I use just some excess card just to make sure that it's what I want. And then I check it to see if I would like it there. And I decide against it because I don't really want it there. I put that little stamp to the side to remind myself that I need to wash it before I put it away. Again, I pick another stamp. This is a quote and I check it. I put some ink on it, check it on the other side, and it's a very pretty quote, and I just put it on my cover to see if I want it there, decide I do. Now when you're putting on stamps, make sure that you keep it very level, and yeah, so I put it there. And again, put it to the side to remind myself that I need to wash it before I put it away. So that is my daily insert. It's very simple, nothing too extravagant, but that's how I like my daily insert to be. Now I start on my journal. So this is again just graph paper, and I again picked out 2 pieces of paper ahead of time to pick. Now I know that B6 size is a 5x7 sheet of paper. So I'm going to cut my cover a little bit more than 5 inches on the width, because again, accounting for the width of the journal. And also I know that the journal will expand over the month, because I do like putting ephemera, cards, things like that in my journal. So I account even more for the width of that journal as the month goes on. Again, cut the back side, check to make sure, and then I will cut the front, or cut the height, and again using the same technique as I did for the daily insert, just cutting. And so that is the cover for my journal, the 2 papers, and again just making sure it matches, using washi again to adhere both sides, making sure to account for the width of that journal insert, again a little bit extra just to account for extra ephemera that's going to happen. Now for my journal insert, I tend purposely be more messy than my daily insert, but I do like my journals to be a little bit more rustic, so I'm not so concerned about straight lines. And then again, washi the other side, making sure that the height matches. And then putting my journal insert just to make sure that it all fits beautifully in there. And at that point, I'm going to use cardboard stickers that came with the kit. And I choose a Hello March. And I put that at the very top. I did not put any cardboard stickers in my daily insert because I like my daily insert to be quite slim. It's something that I carry around in my everyday carry. So I don't want to put cardboard stickers in there because it'll add extra depth. But for my journal, I like to add depth into my journal. It makes it more interesting to me. I choose some die cuts with the florals and leaf, and I put that in the bottom corner again with my glue stick, just checking to see if the dimensions work to my preference. And I'll put that in, checking again with that leaf and that flower, and then I stick it down. I don't put glue all the way around the edges, which I think some people will be very annoyed by, but I'm kind of okay if the edges of my die cuts lift up a little. It adds a little bit of rustic flair. I see if there's any cardboard stickers that I want to use, in which there aren't. I make sure that the cap is on my glue stick again, and that should be my journal. And that is my daily insert. I like them both to match. It just makes it easier for me. And at that point, I'm going to put everything away. So I put everything back into the original packaging. And then I put it into this glassine bag that came with all of the cards with Cocoa Daisy. And I'll keep all of this extra stuff with my journal, because as I journal throughout the month and take pictures and get ephemera, I like to add them in. And there are some cardboard stickers and some die cuts that are specific to memory keeping. This is, after all, the memory keeping kit. And so I'll keep it all together. It just makes it easier for me. And plus I am traveling this month, so it'll make it easier if everything is together. I do like to clean up as I go, so it leaves my desk space a little bit clearer. I put the stamps away. Again, I have to clean those other 2 stamps later on. So I'll put those stamps with the others later after I clean them and dry them. And I try to keep as much of the excess leftover paper as I can to try to use. If there is some paper, so that piece of paper with the tab punched out, I will just cut off the tab part, and then I can use that little scrap for something else. I can use it as a background or just make another tab out of it if I need it. And then I'll put everything in the Cocoa Daisy bag. It has a drawstring, so it makes it a little easier for me to carry it around. And all of those stickers, I'll put them in with my daily insert because I'll use them throughout the month in my daily insert. Make sure everything gets put away. That is a Cocoa Daisy bag that came in September of 2019. I put my stamps stuff all together in another bag. And I'll throw away all those excess little bits. And that is how I set up my March. I hope you guys have a nice day and talk to you guys later. Bye.